Hello and welcome to the energy update for the week of the 20th of November. So, the energy of this week, what's coming through is a lot of activation. It's a lot of energy put behind what we actually desire. And how can we sit in the energy of everything that we want to materialize it in our reality? And so it's very much this energy of, when we talk about manifestation energy, it's about what does that mean? It means actually sitting in a frequency or an energy or the emotions of what we want and allowing that to therefore draw it towards us. And really the aim of this week is sitting in the energy and the frequency of what we want. So this could be really showing up real dialed into the frequency of abundance. So this is like vision boarding, mind mapping, getting really, really clear with what we want and just calling in the emotions and the energy of that thing. So I don't know, if you want to have a new position in your job, what would it feel like to be in that position? What would you move like? How would you go into work? What would be the emotions around that? And just really channeling in that energy and sitting in the abundance of everything that you already have and the abundance of even the emotions behind that manifestation. So especially today and tomorrow, it's very much the energy of what can we see and sit with at this time to really create this drive towards what we want. And it's just being in the energy and the frequency of it, because that is what opens up this portal, this gateway to attract everything that we want, because we're already on the vibrational level of that reality. And so what we can really do is we want to really create space for what is coming through. And so if you've done the moon circle with me last week, it was very much about observing what is stopping us from living the reality that we want. What are the fears, the beliefs, the resistances that are stopping us from going after what we want or having it in the here and now moment? And when we can really sit in, okay, what do I actually want? What does that look like? And then what is stopping me? It means we can really begin to take action on what is stopping us, release it, and therefore actualize the desire or the manifestation of what we want. So it seems like the energy of this is very practical. It's very much of like a Virgo energy is what's coming to me. Very much like, okay, what is the planning process here? What do I actually want? What does this look like on paper or visually or whatever it is? What would I be like if I was already that person that had these things? And now what are my biggest beliefs and what are the biggest things stopping me that I need to overcome to be able to get there? And once we're able to understand, okay, what do I need to overcome? We can start with an action plan. So what are some really actionable goals or steps that you can take in the here and now to allow us to get to that point? So what steps can you take to overcome those things and begin to actualize, manifest everything that you want in your reality? And it's very much that kind of like burst of energy and this very practical laid out setting. Now that we have a bit more energy, it's about really seeing it laid out and saying, okay, what do I need to do to get there? What do I need to release to get there? And in all of this, really sitting in the energy and the abundance of the energy and the frequency of that. And so allowing yourself to breathe in and really consume yourself in the dream or the reality or the vision of what you want, and allowing that breath and the energy and the creation, however this is. Some people might find it in nature, they might find it playing sports, doing breath work, dancing, singing. It doesn't matter what it is, but create the energy, the frequency of what you want, as if you were already abundant and you had everything you already wanted. And it's in sitting that and practicing that and creating this action plan around that that's going to help us to really break through the mold and the barrier to begin to make progress on what we actually want. Look at a kind of tarot spread around this. What can we embrace, accept, and let go of to help this process along? And when we really look at what we need to embrace, first of all, it's a Seven of Swords. And so this is the energy of more like, it is the card of like more sneakiness, getting away with things, etc. But really the energy of this card in this capacity is, can we view the things that we've been avoiding, aka the fears, beliefs, resistances that we have towards actually manifesting what we want or creating what we want in our life, allowing ourselves to be bigger and bolder in our action. And we really need to, with this card, it's asking us to embrace, really embrace the things that we've been avoiding, that we are like trying not to look at, because those are going to be the entryway to really overcoming the main obstacles that we have towards having our dream reality right now. And so in doing so, you can see it is all about the swords. It is like this darker energy around let's explore the deeper parts, because when we can really sit with what is stopping us, it allows us to then embrace a new reality where those things have been overcome by the action steps we're going to plan around it. And when we need to look at, when we talk about acceptance, we need to accept the Three of Pentacles. And so the Pentacles is all around physical manifestation, you know, wealth, abundance, job, work. It's a very materialistic kind of part of our capacity. And here it's really about embracing collaboration. And so it's really about understanding here that when we want something in reality, there are going to be lots of different areas that we need to bring together to allow that to happen. And so it is more or less like a collaboration of energy. And this can be co-creation with the universe, right? That we have a part to play, but it isn't just us. And it's about a little bit about surrendering to the fact that there is co-creation and we do have a part of it, and we can accept that, but we can also accept that we don't have full control over our reality. And the universe does support us in what we want. And so when we can really sit with that, we can say, okay, cool, I'm ready to collaborate and pull my energy together. I'm going to do part of the work, and I'm also going to surrender part of that work to the universe. And in accepting that with this trust, it allows it to kind of fall into place. Because when we are in trust, we can really sit in the energy of, okay, I trust that I'm going to do my part and the rest is going to happen for me. We then allow the intuition and the steps that we need to take to really come through and show us what we need. And that is like really, really crucial in doing this work and creating the reality that we want. And so that's a really interesting one. We need to accept the co-creation, the collaboration, and the fact that everything is falling into place for us. And we can do our part, but we can't pretend that we have full control over everything. And in doing so, it is very self-limiting because we do not have all the control. And when we can really sit in that, we can trust and have faith that the universe is going to supply us with what we need. And finally, what we really need to let go of at this time is the Knight of Wands. And so this is, I mean, here in the capacity, it's very courageous, it's free-spirited, it's very impulsive and rebellious. And there's a lot of like drive towards what we want. And in this capacity, what it really is coming through is like, when we are trying to create our own reality, again, it comes in the line with the fact that there's co-creation here. When we are this driven, hard-headed version of ourselves that's very impulsive, we don't allow space to see the different intuitive steps that need to come through. You know, it doesn't allow us space to really step back and say, okay, what does it look like from a different angle? If I were to look at this differently, what would I need to work on? You know, to really see the nuances in the creation of what we want. And when we're very much driven and hard-headed and going very hot, it doesn't allow us a lot of that capacity to take a breath, to look up around us, to slow things down, to feel the abundance that is already in our reality, aka not the pigeonholed outcome of what we want, but what is already here. And so they always give me the same message of, you can have something in the end goal, but what you enjoy is the process of it coming to fruition. A lot of it is not just in the fruit of it, but it's in the journey to the fruit. And so you can't expect to be at the end goal and be happy with what you have. Because if you're in the right now and you're not enjoying what you have, at the end goal, you also won't be in enjoyment of it. And it's very misleading to think like, oh, when I have that thing, I'll be happy. But that's not the case, because if you're not happy with what you have right now, it'll make it very, very difficult for you to be happy when you have that thing as well. And so it's about really letting that go, that impulsive drive to move forward, and instead step back into a little bit more of the surrender phase, more into the energy frequency of what we want, instead of just the doing and the driving ahead. Instead, if we can just be in the energy of what we want and still take action, you know, we've really spoken about making a plan and creating a vision of what we want and what we need to work on and let go of, it still allows us to be in the energy of it versus just being so hard-headed towards the end goal. And together, what we can really do here is we allow space to observe what was holding us back while still moving towards what we really want and sitting in the energy of it and what is already around us. And so it is a really fun week to just be in the more playful, abundant energy of it. It's this more practical energy, but it is still so the vision making and they're still moving forward. And so always the intention is, can we still move forward one step, but just take it one step at a time versus trying to take 100 steps and being paralyzed into nothing, into stillness and stuckness. So how can we use this week to really make some steps forward, but make them really long lasting steps when we really work and look at these questions and we can really sit in it and begin to create a longer term plan towards what we want and what is stopping us. This is the energy of like long period of time. And so we know that in the current moment, when we're taking these steps and we're moving forward, it is still allowing us to move forward towards what we want. And that is the idea. So don't get lost in the end goal, be here in the present, but let's use the energy and the frequency of where we are to still make plans for the future. And that's this week's energy update. Have fun, play around, maybe do something new and get out of your head a little bit more and allow that to really bring through what you need to see and know at this time. And just trust in the co-creation that exactly what you need to see and know and work on with your action steps is going to come through for you. And in observing what we need to release, it allows us to still move forward, even if there are feelings of resistance or overwhelm or paralysis around them. But just faith that we're going to take action and we're going to release any of these things and we're going to go towards what we actually desire and want. And being in the energy of that thing as if it is in the here and now is the ticket to that reality. And that is going to just come through for you. And you just need to trust that when you're visioning and you're doing all these things, that it's already here. You've always had what you've always wanted, and this is a reality. And it's just about playing in that energy. And so I hope you can just be in that playful energy, take time to make this map or this vision board or whatever it is that you need, want to really bring it into like your energy and just play with that energy and listen to your favorite music, allow your frequency to be elevated because it is in the frequency of what we want, the frequency of your energy, of this abundance, that everything is going to come through for you. And this is like with anything, even if it's not your specific goal, just being in the energy of this joyous kind of freeness is going to bring everything forward for you. And so just have faith in that and really work towards everything that you desire this week. And don't be afraid to see the things that are maybe holding you back.